Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kadash. Double honors to all the elders and apostles of GMS that taught me this truth. Peace and shalom to my fellow Akin that are pushing this truth with honesty and sincerity. Shalom. And I read this, man, because this is supposed to be so-called Columbus Day. But throughout the world, not just today, there's a spirit in the world, man, the uproar of the people, because the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is making the truth come out. And so I think this was actually yesterday. Got a video of Jake taking a sledgehammer to his Christopher Columbus statue, man. All right. And there was many statues last year that were taken down and vandalized. Why? Because the truth is coming out, man. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has put the spirit of truth in the earth. All right. That the Latinos, Native Americans are the southern tribe, or the Salakia are the northern tribes of the children of Israel, man. Okay. And that's proven fact, man. All right. For those that have eyes to see, you know. And we're just going to get into some scriptures and some articles going over that, man, you know, because we are the same people. And according to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, all right, our people are returning to their true heritage, man. Okay. And so we're just going to watch some of this video and get into some articles and some scriptures, man, into a little bit of history, man, of this murderous and bloody day, man.
Make sure that don't fall on you, bro. Low. That's right, boy. We taking this bus. That's right. Ice Michael the Archangel. And I come to tell you, we go this up. That's right. That's right, boy. Be back. Be back. That's who Michael the dream of. Michael the Archangel. That's right. Come over here and start something. You know what? Trump would say something like that. You voted for Trump too? No, he's against. Huh? Who are the original Americans? Who are the original Americans? Not you, not I'm the original American. Oh yeah, buddy.
That's right. Jake is up, man. All right. He has an understanding of what's going on, man. All right. Now the Lord has put the spirit on these people to rise up and get an understanding of their heritage, but you know, a lot of them are not of the elect. And so they don't have the full knowledge as to who their people really are, man, and they don't have the importance of the times that we're living in and what's getting ready to come down the pipe, man. All right, because with us finding out who we are comes a judgment and destruction, man, for the 2/3. Okay, the elect, Lord willing that we are those numbers, brother, that are assigned to crown over the numbers. All right, we're gonna make our way through this, but yeah, Jake breaking down and destroying statues. You have a quote unquote Italian Americans being terrorized, and those are some of those Italians are Edomites. You have Jake that did have a history in Italy, of course. All right, which the Sicilians, a lot of the Sicilians were Jakes, but some of them are of the Edomite lineage, man. All right. And what you're seeing now is uproars of the people, man, over these different indigenous holidays. OK, Job 18:11, terrors shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. Yes, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is getting ready to send judgment and destruction to the nation of Esau Edom, man. All right. And we know that those Spaniards come from Esau Edom. All right. And Christopher Columbus, and during the times of the quote unquote doctrine of discovery and the Intercaterra, which we're going to, which I thought I had pulled up, that we're going to get into. Actually, we need that article. So let me go back and grab that. Salakia. I did actually have it. I just missed it right there. The Doctrine of Discovery. But before we get into that, we're just going to get into, let's get into the history of the indigenous people, man, and a little bit of the massacre that occurred. All right. It says population. It's a lot. It says population of history, indigenous people of the Americas. The indigenous people of the Americas prior to colonization have proven difficult to establish. Scholars rely on archaeological data and written records from European settlers. By the end of the 20th century, most scholars gravitated toward an estimated around 50 million, with some historians arguing for an estimate of 100 million or more. Let me see here. It says contemporary illustration of the 1868 Washada massacre by the 7th Cavalry against Black Kettle's band of Cheyennes during the American Indian War. Actually, I want to look that up. I want to look that name up, opening a new tab. So we're going to get that Black Kettle. I mean, why were they called that? It says Black Kettle Cheyenne was a prominent leader of the Southern Cheyenne during the American Indian Wars. The Northern Cheyenne and Black Hills of President South Dakota. He later married unto, I don't know the name, Black Hills, South Dakota. But again, why is his name being called Black? This is, these are our people, man. We're mostly focusing on Columbus, because Columbus actually didn't discover America. But let's see here. In an effort to circumvent the whole Ottoman Empire, held on the overland trade routes to East Asia, and the hold that I don't know that word. Slovakia for not knowing these words. I haven't seen them before. Granted to Portugal on maritime routes via the African coast. See, keep in mind of Portugal, because that's a Spanish colony. All right, comes from the Spanish colony, and again part of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. The Spanish was a part of the 7 heads. Okay. Off the African coast, the Indian coast, the monarchs of the nascent Spanish Empire decided to fund Columbus's voyage in 1492, which eventually led to the establishment of the settled colonial states and the migration of millions of Europeans to the Americas. The population of African and European peoples in Americas grew steadily, starting in 1942, while at the same time the indigenous population began to plummet. Eurasian diseases such as influenza, pneumoniatic plagues, and smallpox devastated the Native Americans, who did not have immunity to them. Conflict and outright warfare with the Western European newcomers and other American tribes further reduced population and disrupted traditional societies. The extent and causes decline have been characterized as genocide by some scholars. And that's what actually it was, man. Genocide. All right. Genocide. You look at these people, man. These are our people. Okay. They look like the northern kingdoms, man. Let me see here if we can find trying to see if we can find like The total amount. Okay, let's see. All right, so okay, we'll start at here. It says historian David Stannard estimates that the extermination of indigenous people took the lives of 100 million people. The total extermination of many American Indian peoples and the near extermination of others in the numbers that eventually totaled close to 100 million, man. That's insane, bro. All right. So this is why the scriptures say woe to the bloody city, man. All right. This is why the scriptures say woe to the bloody city. And so from there we'll go to so we'll just read an article. So from there we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 28, man, because those were the part of the curses, man. Okay. Those are part of the curses. Let me see. Deuteronomy 28. Slovakia. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. And what were the Native Americans called? Red man. When Esau Edom is the true one that has the true red skin. Okay. They call them tree niggers. All right. They call them Indians, which means savages. Okay. Uncle Tomahawks. All types of shit, man. Right. Verse 38, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field and shall gather but little in, for the locusts shall consume it. And Esau Edom hunted and killed the buffalo so they wouldn't have anything to eat, man. Okay. Enslave them and whip their asses, man. All right. No. And we're going to see here. Let me see here. Yeah. Verse 49, the Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou should not understand. And that was the Spaniards, man. All right. They came over to the Native Americans and destroyed their ass, man. Raped, robbed, pillaged, and beat the women. Okay. And all of this was under the guise of what's called a papal bull, which is known as the Doctrine of Discovery. Remember in 1490, around 1497, 1495, 1492, all that madness. So it says the Doctrine of Discovery, the papal bull Inter Caetera, issued by Pope Alexander VI on May 4th, 1493, played a central role in the Spanish conquest of the New World. The new document supported Spain's strategy to ensure its exclusive right to the lands discovered by Columbus the previous year. It established a draconian, let me see, is that right? Discrimination line 100 leagues west of the Azores and Cape Verde Islands, and assigned Spain the exclusive right to acquire territorial possessions and to trade in all lands west of that line. All others were forbidden to approach the lands west of the line without special license from the rulers of Spain. So they basically colonized the islands and made it illegal for any other nation to step foot on those lands, because they were claimed by the under the papal bull by the queen and king of Spain, man. All right, one of the brothers we actually had a class over this, man, Inter Caetera and a Doctrine of Discovery and a Roman Pontifice. All right, and under these laws and statutes, or papal bull rather, this is how Christianity was forced upon, and the image of white Jesus was forced upon the natives, man. All right, let me see. Without special license from the rulers of Spain, this effectively gave Spain a monopoly on the islands in the New World. The bull stated that any land not inhabited by Christians was available to be, quote unquote, discovered. All right. Claimed and exploited by Christian rulers, and declared that the Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere, increased and spread. All right, and that's what they came. They came with the image. Okay, because during the time, Pope Alexander the Sixth, that was his son, Cesare Borgia. Okay, because I believe his name was Rodrigo Borgia. Could be wrong, but I know that was his son, and he came with that image of his son, as which most people of the Northern Kingdom know as to be Jesus Christ. All right, when he didn't, in fact, look like that at all, man. Okay, let me see. The bull stated that any land not inhabited. Oh, I already read that. All right, that Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere, increased and spread, that the health of souls be cared for, and that the barbarous, listen at that, barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to the faith. It's the faith itself. That goes back to that byword and proverb, man. Barbarious, that they say. Okay. This doctrine of discovery, became the basis of all European claims in the Americas, as well as the foundation for the United States Western expansion. In the U.S. Supreme Court, in the 1823 case of Johnson v. McIntosh, Chief Justice John Marshall opinion in the unanimous decision held that the principle of discovery gave European nations absolute right to New World lands. In essence, American Indians had only a right of occupancy, which could be abolished, and that's what they came with was paperwork, man. And it says the bull Inter Caetera made headlines again throughout the 1990s and 2000s, and when many Catholics positioned Pope John Paul II to formally revoke it and recognize the human rights of indigenous non-Christian peoples. Okay, and they're called them non-Christian peoples because a lot of these early presidents, knew the faith of, or knew that these indigenous peoples in the islands, all right, were actually Israelites, man. They knew this. And it says, let me see here, just a second, man. It says clues connect Native Americans and ancient Hebrew Jews. Oh wow, this articles this year, and it says in an era of clues becoming unraveled daily about our human origins and ethnic ancestry, it's important to bring up research that has lately been swept under the rug. This is a topic that requires patience and attention to gain an honest understanding. I bring up this debate of worldviews amid our ever-present culture war in complete grace. My new large-scale historical nonfiction currently being written is titled Providence and the North American Indian. It is a piece of work and brings a topic front and center that has not been thoroughly explored since the early 20th centuries. Edward Curtis wrote. All right, we're going to skip down a little bit, man. Let's see, there is okay. There is a special relationship cloaked under a blanket of misinformation between the nation of Israel and the North American Indian. Over four centuries ago, 400 years, it was widely theorized that the indigenous peoples of the New World were part of the lost 10 tribes. Let's see what this has to say. The unique relationship that is uncovered is shockingly similar. There is certain evidence that should be presented, and it will arguably be pushed back against by some individuals as well. Let's start by certain similarities in religious understanding that God indeed created the world and also came down to destroy this civilization. I'm just going to move down a little bit, man. Okay. So it says in the 10,000s or 1100s AD, most of our knowledge of these people comes from the Aztec sacred book known as the Codices, which were kept in their temples and which had the native Aztec historians use when they wrote their chronicles in the first half of the 1500s by the Aztec. Let me see, just moves now. And because that word Aztec means I want to say it means people of time. I think that's what it means in Hebrew, people of time. It just says Aztec nation. He claims that they were descendants of the Totalics who had passed down the following tale in this account. We're not going to read that. Let me see. But they do. Okay, right here they're mentioning the Tower of Babel and the flood. Let me see here. Just moving down, man. Moving down a little bit. Let me see. All right, so we'll move down to the Lost Lunar Stone. It says the Lost Lunar inscription, the Decalogue Stone. The Lost Lunar inscription is an abridged version of the Decalogue or the Ten Commandments, carved into the flat face of a large boulder resting on the side of a hidden mountain near Los Lunas, New Mexico, about 35 miles south of Albuquerque. The language is Hebrew, and the script is the Old Hebrew alphabet, which we know as the Paleo Hebrew, okay? With a few Greek letters mixed in. The stone was found originally in the 1800s. Let me see here. Who is convinced that the inscription is ancient and thus authentic. He reports that he first saw this text in 1933. At the time, it was covered with lichen and I don't know those words, man, and was hardly visible. Who was taken to the site by a guide who had seen it as a boy back in the 1880s. A present at the present, the inscription itself had badly chalked and scribed up. However, Morehouse compares the surviving withering on the inscription to that on a nearby modern Grostio, dating itself to 1930. He concludes that the Decalogue inscription is clearly many times older than the Graffatato, and that 500 to 2,000 years would be an unreasonable estimate of its age. The inscription uses Greek delta, eta, and kappa reversed in place of their Hebrew counterparts ta, za. This is like kind of like Yiddish the way they're pronouncing it. Let me see here. Just gonna move down, man. Move down a little bit more. It says, note, my defense of the biblical account of the inscription stands opposite to this critical theory of carbon dating, which has been proven non-accurate and actually works for biblical evidence and not against it. Paleo Hebrew etchings not made to perfection, as explained above, is completely logical. The author who sketched the stone spoke Greek, which was common as English in the biblical era, even in differing continents, and new verbal expressions of Hebrew itself. But there was no way that how would someone understand and write ancient Paleo Hebrew? All right, because we know that those writings predate Columbus, and the scriptures tell us this, man. All right, how the Northern Kingdom came about over here. This is 2nd Esdras 13. We'll start at let me see, Salakia. We will start at 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, who Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. All right. But they took this counsel and among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, all right, leave the captivity of Shalmaneser, because I think he was overthrown by Saigon, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, which is known as the New World, that they might there keep their statutes, in which they never kept in their own land, because we were going off. And even when they came over here, man, they went off. All right, because they decided to try to keep the statutes so they wouldn't go into captivity again. But we went off again, man, and this time Columbus came and threw at their asses. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, which is why they were good in reading the stars, and held still the flood till they passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. So a year and a half, all right, almost 2 years. And during that time, the way the waters were and the way the ships were moving, and that same region is called Arthurus. Then they dwelt there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, and they're finding that we are finding out who we are over here, which is Arthurus, which is Babylon the Great. And I also have that that pulled up because we've been through this before, man. But just because it's Columbus Day or whatnot, we're going over it again, man. It says Arthurus, the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the 10 tribes, far away from the habitation of men, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to the what is this? I can't read that. Those Roman numerals. I know it says was it 15? ESD. Columbus identified America with this land. The name it has been suggested by Scheller Slindsey is taken from Deuteronomy 24:27, because they forsook the covenant of the Lord and went and served other gods. The Lord rooted them out of their land and cast them into another land. As this day, this passage is made to refer to the 10 tribes, and his name is just naming all the different information. Let me see. It refers to the 10 tribes, but different opinions are expressed by Ibecca and Eleazar. The traditions are rather confused as the names where the 10 tribes may be expected to return or not. But no, they're not. They're not returning from this place, man. Okay, but that was just going to show you that Arthurus is linked to America, which we all know that Arthurus is linked to America, and this is an interpreter that was with Columbus. An interpreter was with Columbus says Luis de Torres was Christopher Columbus's interpreter on his first voyage to America. De Torres was a converso, apparently born, because he was really an Israelite, man, and they have him white. You know, they have him white, but Apostle's heart goes into him a lot. And the first time I seen this image, it was of a dark complected man. Okay, let me see. De Torres was a converso, apparently born Yosef ben Levi, chosen by Columbus for his knowledge of the Hebrew. Now, why would Columbus have an Hebrew interpreter? Or because Columbus actually read Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, and knew that they were in the Americas, man, as you call it. Okay, let me see here. He knowledge of Hebrew, Chaldaic, and Aramaic. After arriving at Cuba, okay, which is Manasseh, which was supposed to be an Asian coast, Columbus sent De Torres and the sailor Rodrigo de Juarez on an expedition inland on November 2nd, 1492. Their task was to explore the country, contact its ruler, and gather information about the quote-unquote Asian empire described by Marco Polo as the Great Khan. The two men were received with great honors in a village and returned 4 days later. They reported on the native custom of dyeing leaves, inserting them in cane pipes, burning them, and inhaling the smoke. A reference to use of tobacco. And this is what they ended up exploring that man, making them work on tobacco plants. When Columbus set off for Spain on January 4th, 1493, Luis de Torres was among the 39 men who stayed behind at the settlement of La Natividad, founded on the island of Hispaniola. Coming back to the end of that year, Columbus learned that the whole garrison had been wiped out by eternal strife and by an Indian attack, which had occurred in retaliation to the Spaniards abducting native women. And that goes into him not having regard for the young or the old, man. Let me see here. We don't. I thought I had that in Deuteronomy, but I didn't. So we'll just finish up on this article, man, and get out of here because Esau is being found, man. The history is being brought up, and there's nothing you can do, man. There's nothing you can do about it. The truth is out. This is Isaiah 47, and I'll start at 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, no more being called the Lady of Kings, man, because of the horrendous history of rape, robbery, murder, and lies, man. Okay, you have touched the Lord's chosen people. You know, we read earlier in another article that the estimate is over 100 million natives were wiped out during Columbus, man. All right, let's see if we can look up some quotes from Columbus real quick. So it says, quotes from Columbus. It says, these people are very unskilled in arms. With 50 men, they could be subjected and made to do all that one wished. For the execution of the voyage to the Indies, I did not make use of intelligence, mathematics, or maps. Let me see. See what can we find. Not these. Let's see what other quotes he had. Let's see. Let's see one. Says, but in truth, shall I meet with gold or spices in great quantity? I shall remain till I collect as much as possible. For this purpose, I am proceeding solely in the quest of them. All right. They're still having that covetous spirit. Let me see. Wow. As soon as I arrived in the Indies, in the first island, which I found, I took some of the natives by force in order that they might learn and might give me information or whatever there is in these parts. And so it was that they soon understood us and we them, either by speech or by signs, and they have been very serviceable. Let me see here. I have come to believe that this is a mighty continent which was hitherto unknown. Riches don't make a man rich. They only make him busier. And we see here the people are unskilled. Let me see here. What else they got? Following the light of the sun, we left the old world. And when we know this man was a damn demon, man. All right. This man was a demon. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I had here. We can get into this Revelations 13 just real quick. Like I said, the Spain was part of the 7 heads. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. All right, because they came with an image of Cesare Borgia, forcing it on the natives, man. All right, under the Doctrine of Discovery and the Inter Caetera, man. All right. You know, and hey, man, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah is revealing all things at the end. You know, we were taught that the natives just died off and that smallpox killed them out. And this and that. But really, man, they were slaughtered. Our people were slaughtered. And we know and have the understanding of what happened to us as a people. All right. And we'll end out on this real quick. Let me see here. Yeah, we'll go to Baruch. Oh man, come on. Baruch. And I know I might have spelled it wrong. It's a lot. And Baruch 2, and we'll start at 30. Okay, I got to type it in correctly. Salaki, y'all. Salaki, y'all. Yes, man. Baruch 2, KJV. Give it to us. This is Baruch 2, and we'll start at, let's see, around 30. Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because this is a stiff-necked people. And Jake is stiff-necked. Here we are telling you on the corners and highways and byways, and Israelites are everywhere, man, all over the world, literally. All right, but you won't hearken. You got celebrities telling you this. You know what I'm saying? You got even Esau Edom's coming out making videos telling you that they are the Edomites and you are the Lord's chosen people, and you wouldn't hear. So for I knew that they would not hear me, because it's a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and we are the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai put the spirit on us to come back to who we are as a people, man. All right. Verse 31. And I shall know that and shall know that I am the Lord, their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And we do hear, man. We have a mind to understand, which that's what the word heart goes into. And we have ears to hear, man. All right. We've heard the elders and apostles. Okay. We've heard the brothers preaching on the highways and on the corners, man. And now we are putting forth the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai's work, man, being fishers, fishing for the elect. Okay. So I know this lesson was a little longer than what I normally go. Hopefully it was edifying. I tried to bring out something different, bring out something new. A lot of information these brothers, most brothers already know, but be it as it may, man. Shalom.